evening, and we are back in Nairobi. Thank you so much for making time to join us in our top stories.
Tonight on NTV, illegal abortions, misdiagnosis and running a clinic illegally. The fake Dr. Mugo, who was once arrested and charged, has been at it again. NTV Investigates will show you just what he has been doing on our special Quack Clinic.
Also tonight,
we had given the couple up to Friday to fulfill some standards and requirements of this ministry.
Defiant Nakuru pastor says he refused to officiate wedding because couple strayed from Christian path.
Plus, long walks and high fares for Nairobi residents.
Watu wengi hawajaenda kazi, hata vile unaona tumesimama hapo almost 2 hours. Hakuna gari yenye available. Yenye available bei ni kama yote, nafikiri unaenda kununua plot.
PSV operators keep vehicles off the roads as police enforce Bichuki rules for a second day running.
Those that we are supposed to protect, we don't protect, and we allow them, right, to be exposed to elements that they're too early, right, to get involved in or to be exposed to.
Government keen on tackling the rising problem of teen pregnancies as KCSE theory exams start.
NTV Tonight with Trevor Ombija and Zainab Ismail.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atiene. Now tonight, quack doctors have invaded estates, villages and towns, and it is taking a heavy toll on unsuspecting patients. Authorities seem to be overwhelmed with constant strikes, chronic underfunding and the appetite to make profits over people's ailments. Monitoring drugs, patient safety and the ability to regulate the medical sector in general is poor, bordering on non-existent.
Now, big populations of Kenyans have few alternatives when it comes to medical care, prompting in part the rise of many quacks who masquerade as genuine doctors and who take advantage of the vulnerable and exploit every opportunity to make money while risking lives.
On a daily basis, many lives are lost in sham hospitals and it has become difficult to draw a line under the roofs of their scums.
NTV's investigative editor Dennis Okari has been following the activities of a doctor whose notoriety has been widely reported, but it seems he just cannot be stopped.
Tonight, Quack Clinic reveals the deep, dark and dirty secrets behind closed doors. We warn you though that you may find some of the images and details in the following story quite disturbing.
James Mugondichu, also known as Dr. Mugo Wairimu, a known rogue, once accused of sedating and raping women, also running an unlicensed clinic and still walking around scot-free. Dr. Newton, the right-hand man, tall and dark, suspicious by nature, he always observes people and happenings. He rarely speaks. Dr. Victor, short, young, the errand boy. He is everything in between a cashier and a doctor. Three years after he was first exposed, Mugo is back. He now has a new name, new phone numbers, and a new address. Tucked in this populous concrete jungle of Kayole in Nairobi's Eastlands area are his new clinics. For over 3 months, NTV Investigates has followed the activities of Mugo, how he still preys on his vulnerable patients, exploits the desperate, and walks away free. It was time to go undercover. Exposing Mugo for the second time was going to be difficult, and we needed help from the inside. Authorities seemed powerless as his long list of unsuspecting patients who have few healthcare alternatives continues to grow. The first victim of Dr. Mugo is Mugo himself. In this secret footage, a young man identified as Dr. Victor helps Mugo inject himself with a drug whose name we will not mention because it is a controlled drug. We monitored Mugo for months, injecting himself to drunkenness. Doctors say it is easy to abuse this drug because it is more powerful than the speed of cocaine as regards getting someone high. Lying on his patient's bed, Mugo never leaves his phone behind. His phone rings and it is a woman in distress. In a drunken stupor, Mugo is giving a diagnosis.
Dawa zote tatu mpaka ya kuulisha damu ya 4 yote nitakuta. Sawa. Hiyo sahihi. Kwa sababu bakteria zinaanza kumka sahihi. Bakteria zinaanza kuleta shida. Baada kesho ataanza kutoa simile sanda moto kuja kwa mawe.
After a while, another fake medic, Dr. Victor, in a red jersey, walks in to pump more drugs into his boss. The drugs Mugo is taking are in packs. One pack contains 5 bottles and Mugo has just had a total of 10 bottles so far. This drug is what Mugo uses to sedate unsuspecting women before he rapes them. A young woman who saw a job offer on his Facebook page recounts what she observed in his clinic. Mugo tried to sexually assault her, but she was lucky to escape.
Theater inakuanga iko na milango mbili. So kuna ile mlango ya ndani ya theater wewe inakuanga locked. Alafu sasa kuna hii ya nje. Sasa hii ya nje ni penye unaingianga tu, then ndio unaingia sasa through the next door. So hiyo nyingine ikifungwa, it's very hard wewe kuingia kwa theater. So yeye anaingianga kwa theater, anafunga milango na anakaa hapo for almost 30 minutes. Kitambo alikuwa anatumia x-ray room kulala nao juu kwa sababu iko disguised, imezibwa and then kuko na giza. So alikuwa analala nao kwa x-ray room na kuna kitanda hapo. Sasa siku hizi ndio nasikia anatumia theater.
This year, a young woman was raped here by Mugo after she was injected with the sedative drug through an IV.
Kuna siku nilienda kwa Mugo, akaniambia nipande kwa kitanda and examine. All of a sudden, akaniambia kuna dawa atanidunga kwa mkono. After like 5 minutes, nikasikia ni kama kizunguzungu. All of a sudden, sikuwa najijua, ni kama I was dead kabisa. Kuna kitu niliona ni kama ananifanyia kabla dawa inibebe kabisa. Nikifungua macho, namuona ako mbele yangu. Alafu alikuwa ananiongelesha tu. Anaongea lakini sikuwa najua chenye anasema. So the thing I remember ni kama alifungua trouser. From then akafanya whatever he did to me.
There is no control of the dosage he uses on his patients. The World Health Organization lists the drug as an important medication used to sedate people in intensive care or as an anesthesia for people undergoing surgery. It has the ability to produce a trance-like state that includes pain relief and memory loss, making it ideal for situations where extreme pain could be involved. Unfortunately, WHO says the trance-like state produced by this substance has made it popular for recreational use and abuse. Many of the women who have come to Mugo's clinic and were injected with the drug may never know what happened to them while they were unconscious.
Due to the effect ya dawa, bado sikuwa naelewa ni nini anafanya. Naona he's doing something on me, but sielewi ni nini. I used a way nikamuuliza, is there anything you did to me? Na hukuniambia. So in that way, ndio alikubali, akasema he did something on me.
What did he exactly say to you?
Alisema ati he was carried away, then alijipata amefanya mambo ingine, hafai kufanyia patient.
Mugo hides the sedative drug in this corner as trash so that no one, not even the cleaner, will suspect anything. One bottle is full, the other half empty, with a syringe on the lid to stop any leakage. Victor has been trained by Mugo at his clinic and attends to patients whenever he is high or is not around. As he attends to his boss, the man who had earlier spoken to Mugo on phone before he passed out arrives to pick medicine for his sickly wife at home. The young man was charged 800 shillings for medicine, which costs only 40 shillings. Dr. Mugo Wairimu first hit the headlines when a video clip showing him raping an unconscious female patient in his clinic went viral. In this disturbing censored video, a woman on a drip is seen slowly sliding into a state of deep sedation after being drugged before Dr. Mugo climbs the patient's bed and takes advantage of her. It takes 24 minutes. The woman is still not awake. His area of operation was in Zimmerman and Githurai, where he advertised himself as a gynecologist, offering reproductive health services, oftentimes for free, and women were lured in. The revolting video shocked the country. Members of the public displayed their anger as police stood baffled by the news, but standing by just in case things turned ugly.
Huyu mtu tumemjua kwa muda mrefu, amekuwa daktari kwa muda mrefu hapa kwa zaidi ya miaka 5. Serikali nayo imelala upande ya kuangalia mahospitali. Juu sasa sisi raia hatuwezi kuwa tunaenda huko tunajua huyu hana barua na huyu hana barua.
Locals here could not understand how Dr. Mugo managed to operate a clinic for 5 years against all medical practices without a license and evade detection. To escape public wrath after being exposed, Dr. Mugo immediately left Nairobi for Limuru. It didn't take long before he was arrested. Members of the public had spotted him having breakfast at this hotel.
Wakati nimeingia kwa hoteli Getongo, nikaona hiyo uso iko familia na ile niliona kwa TV. Nikaamua hata sisi tuko na mabibi. Baada ya kubahatisha niite SP Degwa na yeye hakukaa akakuja immediately. Nikamwambia kwanza chunguza kama ni yeye beba.
Administration police arrested Dr. Mugo and took him to Tigoni police station where he recorded a statement and even took time to share his feelings.
Put yourself in my shoes, you know what it feels, mob justice. And anything could have happened. People would have just set me ablaze or started throwing stones without even knowing the truth.
That truth would take the state prosecution team handling the case a long time to get the suspect behind bars.
As soon as this matter was highlighted by the media, the respondent went into hiding, which made it very difficult for investigations.
No, I don't even know who his complainants are. Yes, the affidavit says that some people have recorded a statement. So be it.
That the offences are alleged to have taken a long period of time, and that the victims are large in number.
October 2015. Dr. Wairimu, whose real name is James Mugondichu, was first charged with rape, illegally administering unknown drugs, operating as a pharmacist without a license from the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, and hiring an unlicensed laboratory technologist. He was right. There was no reason for him to be shaky. Police say the fake gynecologist could not be charged with rape for lack of forensic evidence and witness statements.
I call upon anybody who may be having a complaint against the said doctor to come forward and record the statement at Kasarani police station so that we may commence investigation and decide whether the doctor has an offense to be charged before court.
According to Dr. Mugo, the allegations against him were frivolous and nothing more than a dark cloud floating into his life but carrying no rain or storm.
The issue of rapist, I got used to it. I got used to it. There's no use crying over spilled milk. This is a case where you say, time will vindicate me. I cannot commit suicide because that happened. Life will not stop because that happened. I'll not stop being who I am.
Today, Mugo is very active and very outspoken on social media on a wide range of issues. By our count, he has at least 7 Facebook accounts. Most of them pseudo accounts. James Ndichu, Hope Maria, Maristops on Call, Safe Abortion Mission, Prestige Wairimu Mugo, and his personal page, Mugo Arap Wairimu. Contents on his pages reveal a man who is defiant. In this post, he says, "The quack doctor is back with a bang. We will know who between me and some journalists is a quack." Another post, "I am back stronger, candid, daring, and fearless. Like it or not, but I'm back. My lessons fresh. Those who counted me out will be met with shock and disbelief." Mugo is not camera shy and, like an overnight celebrity, makes media appearances to promote himself. He even shared his intentions to run against Roysambu MP Waihenya Ndirangu in the 2017 elections and still run his clinics.
I'm telling you, I'm still attending my clients wherever I'm attending them from. I'm just practicing what I studied in. Where I'm doing it and the other details and how I'm doing it, let me let that remain in me for now.
Well, that's an investigative piece by NTV's investigative editor, Dennis Okari. The second part is coming up in just a bit. It's already trending on Twitter. We have a lot of reaction, most of it very angry and for good reason from Kenyans. I want to sample just a few of them. The hashtag they're using is Quack Clinic. Ahmed Kadar says NTV's Quack Clinic depicts everything that's wrong with Kenya's health sector, sickening situation. And we still have more here. Annabelle Cheshiniwe says, "This is very sad. Drunk and giving prescriptions, raping his female patients after sedating them. This man Mugo deserves to rot in jail." And we still have more. Benjin Dolo says, all the signs of a country hurtling towards a failed state. Climate of impunity festers undeterred. Thanks to media for painstaking, relentless investigations. You love this country, and kudos to Dennis Okari, of course, for staying over 3 months just following that story. Nelson Chege says, "How is this man still walking free?" That's a fundamental question there. And Kibigen also says, "Quack doctors are all over these streets. We are living in a quack nation. Sad state of affairs." And we still have more. Marius Mugambi says, "This is extremely wrong. This man needs to be in prison." And we also have another one. Shiron Juguna says, "Kenya police should do something about the quack clinic. How is Mugo Wairimu still raping ladies out here and walking free?" And we have a last one here. Valentine Mwambure says, "Why Mugo Wairimu is still walking around free after being exposed the first time still baffles me." And from that, we're taking a short break here. When we come back, Zainab Ismail has the second part of the quack clinic. Keep the comments coming. We'll read some of them during and at the end of this broadcast.
All right, welcome back. Let's now take a look at the second part of the disturbing revelations on the Quack Clinic.
For those who still hold the view that he was guilty of a crime and periodically call him out online, he writes messages like this one. Rapists? That's what idiots who have nothing engage me in. Keep bleating and blabbering here. Go obtain an OB report of how I raped you, and I will be acted on by our criminal justice system. Don't behave like a cow or a dog on heat. Idiot. Back to the present state of affairs. It is another night, and a similar routine unfolds. Mugo on a drip, sedating himself in one of the rooms in his clinic before someone arrives. The man in a navy blue jacket is called Otieno. Remember his name because he is key in this report as the story unfolds.
The woman cannot make a decision.
The camera's sound is inaudible at this point, but they have a brief discussion as Mugo slips in and out of consciousness. The effects of smoking, swallowing or snorting this drug tend to be less intense than directly injecting it. When Mugo is not injecting himself to get high, he simply smokes marijuana. He does it at the back of his clinic. When he is not high on the controlled drug or marijuana, it is alcohol. It can be argued there is nothing wrong with drinking because he is an adult, but Mugo does it inside his clinic and in front of his employees.
I'm there as a cover to you. At the same time, be a cover for me. When I was scared to fanya kitu, being a cover for someone, you are doing a favor. It's a colleague. Kama si huyu mtu unge, kama si mimi ungekuwa hapa. Uko hapa kwa sababu yangu. Mimi si malaika, tuna makosa nafanyanga pia. Sio?
We observed that Mugo normally takes his alcohol in plastic mugs to disguise it as coffee. Even in front of patients, he doesn't stop drinking. In this video, he is seen getting high as he watches a patient struggle to get out of bed due to a leg injury after a bad fall at home. His unsuspecting patients either don't know he's drinking alcohol or are too preoccupied to tell. We observed during the months of filming this story, Mugo would often sleep in his clinic when there was no patient admitted here, until the effects of the drugs or alcohol wear off. Another camera follows Mugo bragging how he has another controlled drug in his possession.
Ukilala haina shida, then nikaacha kuitumia.
Usingizi. Inakuangalisha usingizi.
Usingizi ile
Mugo is always in a cape as a way to disguise himself from anyone who might recognize him. When he's not drinking at his favorite local pub near his clinic in Kayole, he moves his alcohol to his clinic. This is where Mugo keeps the beer he orders from the pub. This fridge is supposed to hold medication that requires refrigeration for his patients, but syringes and lab test kits are all mixed here. Anything can be stored in this fridge, including open vials. Mugo runs his clinic without a care about the health hazards he poses to himself, his employees and patients. This is the only sink in his clinic. This is where they clean tubes, reagents, wash lab bottles, and they still use it to clean dishes and cooking pots. The dirty and smelly fridge sometimes acts as a storage for his patients' food and fruits. This blue bag contains rapid HIV syphilis testing kits. They are labeled Government of Kenya, Ministry of Health, and are not for sale, but Mugo has these kits in his private clinic and charges people. When Mugo was first exposed in 2015, the name of his clinic then was offering 24 hours healthcare services, from doing all kinds of x-ray, ultrasound scans, though he never had the equipment, dental surgery, major theatre among others.
Hiyo mashini ya scan haifanyangi kazi. Hata as in it does not work. You worker but hakuna kitu ina show for real. Hata hizo results conclusion zote zinakwanga out of guesswork. Ziko tu hapo for display na ziko hapo kuleta pesa.
Kama microscope mwenyewe ana confess hajui kuitumia, so inakaa tu just for the sake watu wa public health wakikuja wapate kuna that equipment.
When county health officials inspected his prestige healthcare facility on 7th September 2015, after his activities were exposed, they left this notice perhaps a little too late, but they stopped him from operating a health center for failing to meet the legal requirements. There were 3 reasons for closure in the letter from the County Director of Health: operating without a valid facility license, complaints from the public, and no qualified medical personnel. 3 years later, Mugo is still operating without any formal documents. This is the only certificate from the Registrar of Companies incorporating under the Companies Act, Milan Health International Limited. A few weeks into our secret filming, we began noticing something else going on in the back rooms. This young girl, whose identity we cannot reveal, is sitting on a bucket. She is attempting to procure an abortion. In the next room, Mugo is getting high after injecting himself. Otieno, who can't be seen by the camera, is having a chat with Mugo.
Yes?
This man who walks in is Newton, Dr. Newton, as Mugo calls him. He is also key in this story. Let me go back a bit. Remember the young girl sitting on a bucket attempting to procure an abortion? She came in saying she was 20 years old and wanted to get rid of her pregnancy. Mugo was high. His partner Dr. Newton helps him carry out illegal abortions whenever he's in that state. Newton walks in to check on her IV as she squirms in pain but leaves shortly afterwards.
Newton alikuwa mfanyikazi wake kwa hospitali. Alikuwa akifanya kazi kitambo Kahawa West. Kwa hivyo alikuwa anamfunza kazi tu, anamwonyesha hivi, anamfundisha kudunga shindano, unafanya hivi na hivi. Kwa hivyo alimfunza kazi tu hivyo. According to him, alisema Newton anajua kazi. Kwa hivyo Newton anamconsider kama daktari mwenzake. Pia sometimes anamwachia patients anatibu.
After 30 minutes, Newton, who has no papers to practice medicine, comes back ready to inject her. He uncovers the young girl and injects her near her private parts, without gloves, and after a few minutes, walks away. The injection is to speed up the process. After a short while, the girl is out of bed. Newton gives her this green bucket and tells her to sit on it and push out the fetus. A mother is consulting Victor at Mugo's clinic. She was called in after her daughter procured an abortion. The bill came to 23,000 shillings. But she wasn't told it was an abortion. The young girl could not afford it, so to make the mother pay, her daughter conspired with Mugo that she just had some severe stomach complications. In this video footage, the mother of the young girl is waiting for an answer after trying to bargain because she can't afford to pay 23,000. Victor leaves to talk to Mugo on phone after the bargain, but they insist she has to pay the money. The mother leaves to go look for the money. Newton walks in later to handle the case. After all, he is the one who helped the girl procure the abortion. He tries to explain to the mother why the bill is high and the treatment they gave her daughter. The young girl sits and just listens as her mother tries to figure out what to do. After a back and forth, she finally gives all the money she has. They give her medicine too, and we couldn't tell what they were giving her. Both mother and daughter leave, and the two quack doctors are happy they finally have the money. According to our undercover source inside the clinic, later that month, the mother found out what had happened to her daughter, and she confronted Mugo and threatened to go to the police. Mugo told her he was also going to report that our daughter had done an abortion. The mother was silenced. In Mugo's clinic, injections or drips are given to almost every patient who walks in. Throughout the entire time we filmed this story, we observed that patients didn't question the kind of medicine they were given and the amounts they were being charged. But we also wanted to find out how he allegedly rapes his patients.
Kulala na hao wanawake, I think yeye anawaadmit. Tuseme umekuja hapo na ugonjwa kama meningitis, magonjwa ya kulazwa. So ukilazwa huko anakuandikia bill yenye anajua you cannot pay 70,000 or 90,000, na ukishindwa kulipa anakutumia, analala na wewe mpaka siku yenye atachoka, then anakudischarge.
The night is fast approaching and Mugo needs to get high. He decides to do the bizarre right in front of his workers. Mugo says he completed his studies as a nurse at University of Nairobi in the year 2000. Against all medical doctrines, we couldn't understand why he does this, but the more we filmed activities in his clinic, the more disturbing it became as we previewed the raw surveillance footage. Notice, he dumped the used syringe, the blood-stained cotton wool that he has just used to wipe his buttocks, on the consultation table where he meets his patients. The drugs have begun taking effect, and not long from now, he will pass out again. Mugo doesn't just run a clinic. He has what many call a side hustle. Besides his 2015 case on the rape allegations and running an unlicensed clinic, Mugo has faced fraud charges at the Milimani Law Courts. The cases are still pending in court, and we are not allowed to air certain details.
Okay, I'm going to Nyahuru in the morning unless you plan it starts today.
In a telephone conversation, Mugo speaks to someone who has concerns over a deal gone bad.
He said you're panicking for nothing. It's only today everything is yours. And that's the girl guy anaongea ni kama threat. Ati wewe ndio utarest. Utarest alipelekwa wapi? I've not received any money. I've not even attended any meeting. The only thing I did, I have a Facebook page. Hello? I have a Facebook page where I advertise some TSC jobs. Unaona? When I advertise the jobs, kumbe they happen to be a fraud because mimi naitisha advert kwa kila mtu. Just like the nation wanalipwa na wanakuambia hapo uchunge kuna corner. Unanielewa? Sasa wewe tulikutana in medical terms. I make my money from medicine. I don't make my money from other sources.
On his Facebook page, Mugo deals with a lot of things. He advertises job opportunities and purports to use his fan base as an audience for advertising other products or services. We found out that that's one of the ways he targets innocent Kenyans. And when things go wrong, he backtracks quickly.
He's not a god. Mwambie amefanya makosa kuniambia I'll be first to be arrested. Like who? I'll come and give information to the police. I have no problem. I don't need to be arrested. Hata naweza enda kuripoti na wewe. I think you're getting confused because is that your boyfriend? That is your boyfriend. Afadhali hata angekuwa boyfriend yako, a partner or something like that. Lakini kuniambia ati wewe ndio utakuwa wa kwanza, is trying to, that is a threat. I don't take threats easily because maybe I make my money through sweat. I distribute pills. I do MVS. I do abortions. That's against the law. No. That's how I make my money.
After 2 months of filming, Mugo moves his clinic to a second location. 4-hour health service, 7 days a week. He's changed his posters a bit. He now includes all types of ultrasounds despite not having equipment, family practice or counseling, planned parenthood that includes maternal and child health, family planning, antenatal clinic, general practice and referrals. Inside his facility are metal grills at the entrance to control access. He has 2 doors and he uses the back door as an escape route.
We used to lock the door, the main door, and then we'd lock the other door leading to the theater, and then we will also lock the door that was leading to the reception, to the theater. All those 2 doors, he's the only one who had the keys. So if we lock them, we'd give him back the keys, and then he would hide in the theater or in the X-ray room, which can be locked. And then now we'd tell people, the doctor is not in, the doctor has left, but initially the doctor has not left.
At the reception area, he has put all kinds of medicine, but it is just a front to make it look like a legitimate health center. He never sells the medicine you see here. On a daily basis, many lives on the account of wrong diagnosis and treatment suffer health complications, but the standards and conditions in these facilities is a major risk as well. To welcome Mugo at his new facility is his good friend. Remember Otieno, the one who kept him company whenever he got high? Otieno owns an electronics shop opposite his old clinic. He was Mugo's eye on the streets. Otieno used to do surveillance for Mugo and alert him on any suspicious activities or persons around his clinic, like law enforcement or strangers. Today, he has come for a specialized treatment. Victor tries to put him on a drip at the reception area. Upon inquiring why his friend injects himself every day, Mugo lied to Otieno that the solution keeps him young and the drug softens the skin like a baby. Otieno bought the lie and wanted to try the same treatment. He was advised to take it for at least 3 days. But something goes wrong. Victor doesn't know how to inject the IV through the vein of his left hand. Newton comes in to help. They look for a nail on the wall to hook the drip. The space at this new facility is small, and therefore even the reception area can be used as extra space for treatment. Mugo has told his workers that using gloves is a waste of resources, and during our filming, we never saw him or any of his doctors use them. But they've managed to use gloves to tie the medical drip bottle on the wall. Otieno will have to sit and wait here for the next 45 minutes. Inside Mugo's clinic is a young woman from Mwea. We will not mention her name, but she is in her early 20s. She is admitted here after a botched abortion at Mugo's house. Mugo has converted his house near his clinic to an admission ward, but he only admits female patients here. The young woman, visibly in pain, spent the night here. Her placenta was not expelled during the abortion, and therefore some tissues were retained in her uterus. She was moved to the clinic for monitoring. Lack of immediate treatment can potentially be fatal, or she risks having infections or permanent disability. But she just doesn't know it.
Doc! Kuja.
A young man walks into Mugo's clinic after seeing an advertisement on his Facebook page and is directed into this room that acts as a consultation room and a ward. There is no privacy for the young girl. Victor is seated next to her bed, and an interview is about to take place here. The young man sits and produces his CV.
When did you qualify? You think? You think? You're yet to receive your COC thing. Doc! Daktari! Come.
My COC, I did it.
When did you do your COC?
I did it.
I do understand that. He's also one of them. He did it the other day, last week, I think. Did you finish COC last week? Yeah. Where do you sign? Yeah, that's not a big deal. I really don't care about papers, huh?
Okay.
I care about what you can do. You live here for the sun or the moon or whatever. It doesn't care. There's so many people claiming to have all sorts of degrees from all sorts of places, and they can do nothing. What can you deliver? That's what you care about, huh? So you're waiting for your result. You're very comfortable with the emergencies. Very much. Would you mind if I subject you to an impromptu interview? Like your confidence.
For the next 15 minutes, Mugo interviews the young job seeker as the woman turns in pain. She is listening to the interview and waiting to be attended to. Mugo is not in a rush.
Oh, hello, Jessica.
A phone call interrupts the interview. Mugo is hard giving instructions for something to be dropped at his clinic. After 10 minutes, the package is delivered. A boda rider walks in the room to drop a speculum. From the rider to Victor handling it without gloves or sterilizing it, this is what would later be used to pull out the remains of the placenta from the young woman. The young interviewee, with a bewildered look on his face, looks on as Mugo picks several other phone calls.
Oh, Mr. Zainab, I need money. I'm waiting. In the next few days, I'll be passing there down.
The job interview continues.
Do you have any problem doing an MVA?
An MVA is short for manual vacuum aspiration, a common method to treat incomplete abortion. Mugo interrogates the young man on a procedure that requires specialized clinical training.
You have any religious or whatever no, someone will tell me I'm not to appreciate this, I'm not to an abortion, so my faith, they're not I also don't allow such. I really don't care what is the important to me. I want to move on my same platform.
The young man has just completed his interview, and as the three men in the room laugh at his first attempt, a real practical. As the young man gets ready, he takes time to go and talk to the patient first. The young woman is not comfortable.
Okay, the patient is saying that we are
For the next few minutes, the young man is left alone to remove the remains of a placenta. The video is so graphic that we can't show it on national television. For the next 20 minutes, they use all kinds of tools to get the remains of those tissues out.
Hiyo soda hapo kwa sababu najua ataruka na itamoika. Alafu utoe nguo yangu hapo karibu kwa sababu damu ikiruka. Take hapo. Don't worry. I'm there for you.
The camera misses something disgusting and shocking that Mugo does. We can only see his back that blocks the view of what he is doing to the young woman. Mugo starts kissing the patient and tells her that the kissing is a way to numb the pain. The helpless young woman can't do anything at this point. No words can describe the things we see in this dirty, filthy and dingy clinic. Exploiting desperate patients in ways that can kill, sham clinics in the country have become a big problem as quacks and poorly operated clinics in rural areas, estates and informal settlements purport to offer affordable 24-hour medical care. The ability to regulate is weak, and even when the authorities do, they just can't keep up. On the 9th of August 2018, during a random inspection, 2 Nairobi City County health officers from the Public Health Department came to Mugo's clinic to inspect the sanitation of his premises. Mugo saw them and suspected what they had come to do, and in his fashion style ran inside to hide. The notice reads, "Your attention is drawn to the following conditions which amongst others must either be provided or observed or maintained in your premises in the interest of public health. Any contravention of these conditions will render you or your employees or both liable for prosecution under the Public Health Act Cap 242, Tobacco Control Act 2007, Food, Drugs and Chemical Substances Act Cap 254, and the relevant Nairobi City County bylaws." As the 2 officers stood outside, barred from entering, Mugo wrote a text message to one of his employees asking what they wanted. He then left a number and a name, an Elijah who normally bails him out whenever he's in trouble. He's back. He now has a new name and a new address. Shortly after publishing a promo for the story, what appears to be a coordinated onslaught materialized on social media, just like in 2015 when Mugo Wairemo was exposed. Elijah Madhaya said Milan International Health Center was his clinic. In this Facebook post, he said, "Let NTV sort out the differences with Mugo Wairemo without involving me. What he didn't explain was how Mugo was in the clinic, what was his role, and how he was using the name to sell his services. Mugo father asks his employee to give them one of his 12 numbers and tells them not to agree to sign anything. The county officers then leave this message saying, I, Janet Sakaya, in the company of my colleague Eunice Wangunyu, as authorized public health officers working with Nairobi City County, were obstructed from performing our lawful duties by the receptionist at 4:30 p.m. They left, and during the time of our investigation, never came back. Meanwhile, Mugo continues to make money and to get high. In 2015, Mugo Wairimu, accused of rape and 12 counts of crimes, had been remanded in custody, awaiting a court ruling by Nairobi Chief Magistrate Daniel Ogembo on whether to lift a warrant of arrest issued against him for failure to attend court. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions made an application to cancel Mugo's bail terms on grounds that he has been evading court proceedings by failing to turn up in court during the hearing of his case. Mugo was also accused of interfering with witnesses by posting insulting messages on social media with malicious intentions. 3 years later, he is still doing it. Those who are bold to report him often meet the perennial hurdle.
Nikapeleka mata kwa chief. Chief akamsamo na akakataa kusamoniwa. Nikaenda kwa chief wa Githurai akakataa kukuja. Chief akaniambia nikitaka kusaidika haraka niende kwa chief wa Githurai kwa sababu hapa ni Githurai. Kwenda kwa chief wa Githurai alikuwa ananiitisha hongo. Alikuwa ameniambia kwanza nimbie credit ya 500. Nikamwambia sasa mimi sina pesa juu hata sijalipwa, kwanza wacha twende tuongee Mugo akinilipa mshahara yangu ya miezi 2.5 nitakupatia. So venye tulienda wakaniambia niende nikuje the following day juu sijatoa hongo. Kwenda nikashinda hapo, sikuhudumiwa, nikaachana nayo, nika give up.
To draw a line on quacks is one thing. To identify the culprits to face justice is another. Dennis Okari, NTV Investigates.
Absolutely sad state of affair and just mortifying, and Kenyans are livid online, but I'll just sample a few views here. Sherry Nganga says, this Dr. Mugo story and his quack clinic is heartbreaking and nerve-wracking. There was a video out and this guy was not charged with rape and now back at it, now even using sedating drugs. How is he still free? And we have Dr. Masibo Lumala here says, where's the rule of law if people like Mugo Wairimu are free and predating on innocent Kenyans? Why? What are our police doing about such daring criminals? And we have Eduardo here, who's called Edwin Gishuru, who says the fact that the infamous quack doctor and sex pest Mugo Wairimu was left free to exploit, rape women and risk their lives of poor Kenyans is a manifestation of how mediocre our criminal justice system is. They should have put him away a long time ago, considering this is the second time. Martin Mungai says the so-called doctor is so rude to his patients. Who is protecting Mugo? That is a question he's asking. These quack clinics and doctors are all over the country. We need protection from the government. And we still have Maloba Andati, who says quack clinic is the embodiment of the rot in our national healthcare system. Profiteering, the major objective, service is not even a concern. And we have Paris Fidelma, who says there's a loophole in our justice system. I'm sure there are more out there. The government needs to work on this. And we have another one here who says, Agri Mboya says, just like I said, someone is working with Mugo Wairimu. Where does he get government test kits? And we have Amina Martha who says, why should we still wonder why the law that sets to protect and defend us lets Mugo Wairimu walk free? Should we still believe in justice to be served, or every man for himself. We have James Lamoy. He says, watching such stories makes me wonder how our country has become. My heart completely breaks for those women who experience such atrocious acts. What is our health sector doing about such acts? And we have a last one here from Bran Mwamba, who says, which kind of country are we living in? I mean, this guy brags even on social media and everywhere. He's besieging the DPP and the governor, saying this guy should face full force of the law or the people will act. Be sure. One of the biggest questions that has come out of this particular expose by Dennis Okari is that how come he's still roaming free? We have an update for you. James Mugo Ndichu, who's also known as Mugo Wairimu, is still at large, even as police intensify a manhunt for him. Mugo is accused of operating an illegal clinic in Kayole, right in Nairobi. 2 people who are believed to have been employed by Mugo are still in police custody after they were arrested on Saturday night. NTV Setolale with the latest update.
Soon after NTV Investigates promo on quack clinics started airing last week, the Flying Squad and Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Board launched a search for Mugo. The officers raided James Mugo Ndichu, alias Dr. Mugo Wairimu's clinic in Kayole, Namavila area. The man inside the clinic was not Mugo himself, but his right-hand man, Victor. KMPDB CEO Daniel Yumbia confirmed that some equipment recovered at the facility was meant to facilitate abortion.
Kazi yake, what does it do? To visualize the cervix.
The man was also put to task to provide legitimate documentation.
Yes. So I'll get the details. Yeah. So this is okay. This is another exhibit.
The officers then proceeded to Mugo Wairimu's rental house in Kayole. Attempts to have the door opened seemed to be futile, prompting the Flying Squad officers to opt for an alternative. The door was eventually opened by a woman. Upon entering the house, the officers found out that it had been secretly converted into an admission ward. This is where Mugo has allegedly been carrying out the abortions and sometimes detaining patients who are unable to pay medical bills. The lady refused to cooperate with the police on the whereabouts of James Mugo Ndichu, alias Dr. Mugo Wairimu. In 2015, Mugo was arrested and charged with various offenses linked to operating an illegal clinic in Githurai 44, Nairobi, and raping a sedated woman. He was also charged with a false pretense by pretending himself as a doctor. James Mugo was released on a 2 million bond from police detention. His case is still ongoing. But even before the ruling is made in this particular case, the accused person is yet implicated in another incident. Seth Olale, NTV, Nairobi.
All right, let's take a short break. We'll be back with much more.
All right, welcome back to the bulletin. Now, 15 people have been arrested for attempts to smuggle foreign materials into 2 examination centers in Nyanza and Western. This is happening on the first day of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Theory examinations. And as was the case during KCPE, a number of candidates gave birth and others are heavily pregnant as they write their exams.
Well, Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed says a teacher in Wajir has been arrested in connection with the pregnancy of a teenager. NTV's education reporter Sharon Baranga has more.
Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed, who was in Mombasa to witness the opening of containers and distribution of KCSE papers, says the government is keen on addressing the issue of teenage pregnancies.
It's really sad too that those that we are supposed to protect, we don't protect. And we allow them, right, to be exposed to elements that they're too early, right, to get involved in or to be exposed to.
In Baringo County, 4 candidates are writing their exams at Baringo County Referral Hospital. 2 of them are new mothers, while the other 2 are sick.
They're in stable condition. The newborns are in the maternity ward, they're in the nursery department.
In Kuresoi, Nakuru County, 1 student did not sit the exam as she was already married. Another took her exam after delivering a baby. Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang has ordered extra vigilance in examination supervision across the country.
We only say that we are giving an eye surveillance because we were seeing certain activities that we thought were not going to assist us in administering a clean examination.
A few people in some parts of the country, which I will not name, that are failing examinations on motorcycles. Please do not attempt to do that again. It is not proper. The risk is too high.
Over 660,000 candidates are sitting this year's Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examinations that will last 18 days. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
And away from the exams, Apostle Jessica Ranja, the pastor who failed to officiate the marriage between Joyce Waithera and Paul Waithaka in Nakuru on Saturday, has defended his stance, saying that matters of church ordinances remain at the discretion of the church management.
Speaking during a church service yesterday, Apostle Karanja says the decision was arrived at after the couple failed to meet the standards set by the church for them to be united in holy matrimony. NTV's Charity Mwangi stays on that story.
At the entrance of the Mizpah House of Prayer stands a banner that clearly declares the church's mandate. It reads, "Standing in the gap for Kenya as a watchman." Perhaps as a dedicated watchman, the pastor Apostle Jesse Karanja felt it necessary to refuse to conduct the wedding. His reasons:
basic principle standard of our Christian Pentecostal ministry, they were not met. If I tell the people, you must before you get married, you must go to our program of premarital counseling. If you don't go through it, because that's the only way I can know whether we are our responsibility to make you a good Christian and to help you to live a good marriage life, we have met.
The couple was reportedly asked to get medical tests, a prerequisite for the church before a couple weds. People close to the couple say the pastor was unreasonable and seemed to expect a specific set of results, prompting the lovebirds to do the tests 3 times.
Amekuwa akifanya repeatedly, anawaambia warudie medical zaidi ya mara 3. Tunashangaa pastor amekuwa daktari tena.
If I tell you, you are sidestepping the path of normal Christian life. If you don't do it, I have a legal authority from heaven to excommunicate you.
The pastor seemed to insinuate that the couple failed to adhere to expected Christian standards, which made the church take action against the couple.
We had given the couple up to Friday to fulfill some standards and requirements of this ministry, because we proclaim living a life of purity.
The pastor maintains that he is doing the work of the Lord that seeks to bring back those who may deviate from the standards back to the straight and narrow path. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
All right, let's now take a very short break here on NTV Tonight. When we come back, Brian Otwal brings you all the stories making headlines in the world of sports. Right, welcome back. And before I pave the way for Brian at 12 for the sporting action, let's take a look at the day's business stories. And the government has announced that it will buy a 90-kilogram bag of maize from farmers at 2,300 shillings this season, 900 shillings shy of what it bought the same last year. Noah Kesa, the chairman of the Strategic Food Reserve Trust Fund, says that the new prices were determined by favorable weather conditions, unlike in the same period last year, coupled with the liberalization of the market. The purchase of the current stock of 2.5 million bags will be carried out by the National Cereals and Produce Board and is set to begin at the end of this month, as soon as the National Treasury avails funds to the Strategic Food Reserve Trust Fund. Vekesa also says that the fund has received approval from the National Treasury to pay the pending balance of 2.1 billion shillings to 226 farmers who are still owed money.
226 farmers that have not been fully paid. 62 have been found to have issues with the Ethics and Corruption Commission, ESCC, and that is ESCC, and required to be cleared. The balance of 164 farmers, therefore, without any issues, will be paid immediately within the next 2 weeks.
Now, Trans Nzoia Governor Patrick Khaemba and his Uasin Gishu counterpart Jackson Mandago have dismissed the new maize prices announced by the Strategic Food Reserve Board of 2,300 shillings per 90-kilogram bag. The two governors say the prices do not have the interests of the farmers at heart. The two, who are members of the task force appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta to provide solution to the maize crisis, said their input was not considered in the newly set prices.
If we are not buying maize from the current price, the price that had been set last year of 3,200, we say that there was the minimum we would expect them to buy the maize is 2,500 Kenya shillings. And therefore, this price of 2,300, I want to say me and Governor Khaemba are not part of it. And since we are in the task force, we are going to contest that and ask them that they improve the price, because we have looked at the parameters of what the government is looking at, the stocks they have and what they need to buy. It seems some quarters in national government are taking the presidential directive very lightly, and they still want to go back, the same people, making the same decisions and ending up in the same mistakes.
So the figure they were using to estimate the cost of production was contested by the two of us from the counties. We are the producers. We know the cost, actual cost.
Now, large companies reported the largest prevalence of delay in servicing loans issued by Equity Bank in the 9 months to September 2018. Non-performing loans accounted for 14.7% of all loans issued by large businesses by the bank in this period, coming at a time when small and medium businesses have borne the brunt of tightened credit conditions following adoption of caps in interest rates. The period under review saw the bank's investment in government securities grow by 24% to 158 billion shillings, a signal of caution over relatively high risk lending.
Equity returns and 8% growth rate in both profit before tax and profit after tax. Profit before tax increases from 20.7 billion shillings to 22.4 billion shillings, and after tax profit increases from 14.6 billion shillings to 15.8 billion shillings.
Well, that's what we had for you on business news. When we come back, sports news by Brian Otwell.
Tusker Premium.
Starlets coach David Ouma has dropped 7 players from the initial 32 who hit camp ahead of the upcoming Africa Women Cup of Nations in Ghana. The squad will further be trimmed to 21 before the team jets out to Ghana next week for the Continental Showpiece. Among those retained include influential forwards Mary Kinuthia and Mwana Halima Adams, as well as the midfielders Corazon Aquino and Christine Nafula. And Gor Mahia players have a date with destiny on Tuesday night when they play Everton in the SportPesa Trophy game. As Warothe Kiru reports from the United Kingdom, a variety of scouts from across Europe will be at the Goodison Park, and catching their eye could result in a life-changing opportunity to play a professional football abroad for Kogalo players.
The city of Liverpool here in the north of England boasts of 2 English Premier League clubs, Liverpool and Everton, who boast of the Merseyside rivalry. But Everton is a club that is living in the shadow of its big brother Liverpool. However, it is a club that is intensely traditional and that places a lot of value in relationship building. Gor Mahia players enjoyed a lovely game between Everton and Brighton at Goodison Park on Saturday, with the Toffees winning 3-1. After the game, Everton coach Marcos Silva and Simon Coleman, who scored against Brighton, both spoke about their match against Gor Mahia.
The match will be a good moment for us to see different players playing as well. It's an important moment, but I want to be fair and to be honest with you. The most important for us will be the next weekend.
Look, it's a game that we have to prepare for going into the next Premier League game. I'm sure the manager will use his squad. We've got 26 top players, and he might mix it up, but it's a game we won't take lightly. We've had some great African players in the Premier League, and I think it'll be an opportunity for the team to show their ability. And on the night, you never know who will be watching and what opportunities come from this game.
Gor Mahia coach Dylan Carr is also very excited about his players getting this opportunity to play here in the United Kingdom.
I just want them to enjoy this. It's a once-in-a-lifetime achievement and maybe once-in-a-lifetime experience for most of these players. And they've just got to take this chance. They've got to take this opportunity. Enjoy this. Enjoy this.
Speaking to people here in Liverpool, there is a bit of knowledge about the game between Gor Mahia and Everton. And more importantly, there is a lot of buzz about Gor Mahia. And this maybe is an opportunity for Gor Mahia player to excel and get a chance to play here in the north of England. Warothe Kiru, NTV, Liverpool in the United Kingdom.
And staying with Gor Mahia, Kenya's representatives in African club competitions, league winners Gor Mahia and domestic cup holders Kariobangi Sharks will have to wait longer to know their opponents in the preliminary round of CAF Champions League and the Confederation Cup, respectively. According to CAF, the 2019 African club qualifying draws were made over the weekend in Rabat, Morocco, but not released due to a special situation. While Gor Mahia will be making their 4th appearance in the Champions League in the last 5 years, Sharks will be making their debut in the Confederation Cup after beating Sofapaka 3-2 to win the SportPesa Shield. And the Kenyan roller skating team jetted back into the country after a successful campaign at the African Inline Speed Skating Championships in Egypt, where they bagged 40 medals, 20 gold, 11 silver and 9 bronze. That saw the team finish first on the log and declared African champions. This after potentially missing out on participating in the tournament after the Kenya Federation of Roller Skating had initially failed to secure funding from the Ministry of Sport to facilitate their participation in the competition that ran from 28th October to 3rd of November. They will now shift a focus to qualification for the 2020 Olympics to be held in Japan. Well, that's the sport. Have a lovely night. We play again tomorrow night. My name is Brian Otual. Back to you, Trevor and Zainab.
All right, thank you so much, Brian Otual, for the sporting news this evening. Well, at this point, this is where we wrap our bulletin, but of course not on a very good note. A heart-wrenching story indeed it was today.
Absolutely, it's absolutely heartbreaking, and Kenyans are still very angry online, but we can assure you we'll follow up as much as we can and ensure action is taken in collaboration with the police as well. We'll give all the details they require, as Dennis Okari had already promised earlier on. That's where we call it a night. My name is Trevor Ombija. It's not a night for me, actually. I'm coming up with Press Pass in just a bit. We're going to discuss matters politics. Have we as the media propagated the 2022 political agenda of a development, or are we obligated to report? A lot of reactions coming through on social media. We'll read some of them in just a bit. But bye for me for now. Welcome for Press Pass.
My name is Zainab Ismail. Our sign language interpreter this evening was Flora Atieno. Good evening.